Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Elizabeth Dutton.
Zaron Burnett.
That's you.
Yeah, hey, what's it?
I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Do you know what's ridiculous?
I do know it's ridiculous.
What?
Close your eyes.
Okay, my eyes are closed. Come at me early with it.
You're sitting in a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
Just going to town on some Wild Wings.
Okay.
I mean, I assume that's what they sell there, right?
Totally. You're describing
Chicken
my
wings.
Thursdays. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you're just like, oh, you're just putting the hurt on them.
Elbows deep in wings.
Oh, yeah. And then you look up
Uh-huh.
and there's a bodacious babe.
Okay.
And
Is she AI?
She's 100% real American beef, Zaron.
Whoa.
And so she comes over
Uh-huh.
and she's got like this like beautiful lipstick on.
Uh-huh.
And she leans in
Uh-huh.
and she says to you, I want to put you on a one-way trip to Flavortown.
Okay.
Now, is this like the best fantasy you've ever had?
Totally. I mean, it's just like, this is pretty much how I dream of restaurant flirtations.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
This could be real.
Really?
Yeah, because there are a lot of trashy ladies out there, but also because
Yes.
Guy Fieri
Yes.
teamed up
Oh, God.
with Revlon
What?
to come up with a Guy Fieri-inspired lip balm.
I want to see the dartboard where these things come up with. They just put Revlon on there and they're throwing darts. Guy Fieri and we hit Revlon.
There it
Okay,
is.
call
They have
Revlon.
like the dice.
Oh my
They
God.
rolled sets of dice.
How do these partnerships come about?
Guy was just like, I love my lip gloss.
My
Maybe-
wife recommends Revlon.
Yeah, I don't
love
know.
it too.
So they get together. It's called Flavortown,
Of course it is.
and it's coral colored. Which I always feel like if you want to tell the world you're crazy, put on coral colored lipstick, but do it outside the lines of your lips in some parts. That's the universal, like,
with you
oh,
on
she's
that.
not all there. That's why I keep some. I don't
Yeah.
wear lipstick, but if I have to, like, signify,
It's
like,
very Reno Casino 3
yes,
a.m.
like this girl's not right. You put that on.
Mm-hmm.
It does not taste like any kind of sauce.
Oh, there's that.
It doesn't taste like barbecue sauce. It doesn't taste like
just a color?
donkey sauce.
It's just a Pantone, like,
It's just,
flavor.
it has a vanilla scent and a buttery texture,
Sure.
but it's like a coral color.
See how I'm
And
trying to play along with this mashup? I'm trying to get ahead of it.
Zaron, it doesn't stop there.
God damn it.
So it has like, you can only get it from Revlon.com. Like,
Of
you
course.
can't have it in the stores
Then
because
why would you?
It would be shoplifted immediately. Like, they'd all be gone.
Yeah, of course, there's that risk.
And but it comes with stickers, so you can customize the outside of your lip balm
Okay.
and the container. And like one of them is like something says "Boss of Sauce,"
Sauce boss.
and then like flames.
Mm-hmm.
So next time you're at Buffalo Wild Wings,
Gotta get my hands on some of that Guy Fieri good
you
lip
know,
gloss.
and there are women who are trying to induce the male gaze because we know that every single man on the planet loves chicken wings,
Totally.
and football,
And a bright, shiny lip gloss.
and bright shiny lip gloss. Or you know what? If you want to wear it to Buffalo Wild Wings,
I
there's
might be
nothing
into
gonna
it.
stop
Coral
you.
would look good on me.
It would actually be really complimentary.
No, it would not.
No, it wouldn't. That'd be bad. In summation,
Yes.
Your Honor, that's ridiculous.
I'll give you that.
I know, you will.
We're going to
'Cause it
score
is.
that ridiculous.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, while we're at it, I got something for you that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's this saying you'll hear people refer to from time to time. It's usually attributed to Oscar Wilde. The aphorism goes, imitation is the highest form of flattery. You've heard that, right?
It is, Zaron.
Yeah.
It is.
Now, it wasn't Oscar Wilde who said that. He actually said imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness.
Well, that's even better.
Which is, it's a much fuller comment. But he was actually not the one to coin the saying originally. He borrowed it from this man named Charles Caleb Colton, who had also borrowed it from an earlier version that dates back to 1714. And the earliest version is probably my favorite. It is, imitation is a kind of artless flattery.
Oh, that's good too.
Right? I think that one says it the best.
I think this just shows that there's nothing new under the sun.
No, a lot of imitation in this flattery. Now, Elizabeth, today I want to tell you about the criminal and ridiculous dangers of artless flattery.
Oh, yeah.
This is Ridiculous Crime. a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Elizabeth, to start this story out and to keep things somewhat modern, today's first story involves a friend of the show, Justin Bieber.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. So, Justin Bieber, how does he come into this? Great question, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you may or may not have seen the recent headlines about Justin Bieber in Las Vegas.
I don't really know. Like, he's another one of those singers, like Katy Perry
Couldn't
and
name a
Taylor
song?
Swift. I could not name a song. Not sure if I've heard one before.
You've heard them. You
May have,
yeah,
but
no,
like...
they're like an ambient noise like coming out of
Yeah,
cars,
but
in
like
stores.
I couldn't tell you the name or like
movies.
sing a bar
Sure,
or two. I
sure.
don't know. So yeah, Justin Bieber. But, you know, boy doesn't like to wear a shirt.
No, we do both know that about him.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he was in Las Vegas recently, or rather a guy who pretended to be Justin Bieber was in Las Vegas recently.
Uh-huh.
Now, before we get into that, you were once a Vegas local, so I wanted to ask, does this happen in Vegas often where you have like folks like cover band people just losing their minds and going, I am Rod Stewart?
Not that I've seen.
Like, you
although
haven't
I
seen people
did,
claim to be stars that they're
no,
not?
I did. I do know one case of this
Which
that
is?
I've heard about. There was this guy who was going all over New Orleans pretending to be Ziggy Marley.
You mean me?
And I mean you.
Yeah.
I mean you.
Yeah. Well, I've told this story before.
No, but you know what? I can never hear it enough times. Like every time I hear it, new details come out that I
Yes.
savor.
Well,
So
okay.
why don't you get it out,
in brief,
exorcise it?
I was in the French Quarter in New Orleans, big tourist area, a lot of people out drinking those hurricanes, right? And this guy comes up to me, he's like, man, I didn't know you were in town. And I had to like, look at him real quick, and I'm like, I don't know this guy. And I was right, I didn't know him, but he thought he knew me because he thought I was Ziggy Marley. So he buys me a free round of drinks, and I'm like, oh, and I thanked him in a Jamaican accent, right?
That's the best part. That's because if someone came up to me and said, I didn't know you were in town, I'd be like, neither did I, and then just go away. But you're like, you
play
leaned
along,
in.
of
Yeah.
course. So I get the free round of drinks, and then, as I said, I thank him in the Jamaican accent, but he's not done. He now wants to show me a good time. So he takes me from bar to bar to bar, and every one, I get introduced as Ziggy Marley. I do a little Jamaican at them, a little patois, throw it down, they give me free drinks, I keep going. This goes on for hours, right? Of course, I get drunk as hell on those hurricanes, and then I'm like, I'm ready to go back to the hotel, so I turn to my friend who's with me, and I'm like, hey, are you ready to bounce? Now, the guy who's been taking us around, he hears me, because I'm thinking I'm whispering, but all the hurricanes, I'm probably just talking at normal volume. He hears me speaking an American accent. Big mistake, huge mistake, right? And he then, his eyes change, his hot anger flashes across his face, and he's like, you're not Ziggy Marley. And I was like, no, I am not Ziggy Marley. But he grabs me and insists that I now go back and apologize to every bar that I had gotten free drinks. And so I did, and I had to go up to all these bartenders and be like, hi, I'm a terrible person, you were so generous, and I tricked you, and I'm a bad person, I'm sorry. Bar after bar after bar.
I love this.
Yeah. So basically, I learned firsthand that people get pissed when you trick them and pretend to be someone they love.
Yeah, people do. They don't
So,
like it. And
no.
they're like, can you sing Tomorrow People for us? And you were like, I'm off the clock, fellas.
Yeah, man, I can't remember all the lyrics right now in my patois.
But call me Dizzy.
So this brings us to pretend Justin Bieber.
Yes.
Now,
Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I love hearing it.
So I got the full story of this guy who conned Vegas and how he got to pretend he was Justin Bieber until his ruse was busted. You ready to hear about not Justin Bieber?
Yes.
So this went down on August 16th of this year at the Wynn Las Vegas Casino. Big casino. They got a big nightclub everybody goes to. This LA-based DJ named Griffin, with a Y, he was performing at the XS nightclub in the Wynn Casino.
Oh, XS.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Club XS, man. So it was a Saturday night, crowds packed, places a bumping. DJ Griffin is doing his thing in the booth on the ones and twos. Wiki, right?
It's a hell on earth.
When someone comes up from the casino and whispers to him, Justin Bieber's in the club. And he's like, what? And he's like, takes off a headphone so he can hear him. He's like, what's up? And he's like, and they're like, yeah, Justin Bieber's here. And he's like, no, DJ Griffin, he's cool with it. He's like, oh, do you want to come up here? And he's like, oh, he wants to do a surprise performance. Sing one of his hits. Sorry, it's a song. Sorry.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
the song is called Sorry.
It's called Sorry.
I thought they were like, sorry.
Sorry, he wants to perform.
And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry about that too.
So DJ Griffin's like, yes, of course. We'd love to do a surprise show with Justin Bieber. Are you kidding me? Have him come up here to the DJ booth. I'll introduce him to the crowd. Then he can take the stage, do a few songs. It'll be a dope. And then, that's not a direct quote, obviously,
Sure.
but you get the idea. So not Justin Bieber.
It's an artist's interpretation.
Thank you. He rocks up to the DJ booth. He daps up DJ Griffin. They chat real quick, industry insider to industry insider,
Sure.
you know. DJ Griffin tells the crowd at the club, I got a super special surprise for you guys. And Justin Bieber's in town. And the crowd just goes nuts, right? Because he's going to do a special surprise set for them. And he's just recently dropped an album. So this all fits for them. They're like, oh my God, this is history or whatever. DJ Griffin cues up the track. Out on stage comes not Justin Bieber. He starts to do some low-key Justin Bieber dance moves. He pulls up his the hood on his hoodie because he's actually wearing a shirt in this instance. And then he busts into his song, Sorry, right? Elizabeth, this guy is good. I mean, I've watched the cell phone videos that folks shot of this, and he sounds like Justin Bieber, at least to my ears.
Sure.
He looks like him, right? He's got the same tattoos as Justin Bieber.
Oh,
the
wow.
exact same tattoos.
How do we know it wasn't Justin
Exactly,
Bieber?
right? He also has the same haircut. He's got the same dye job, because right now he's got this blonde dye
and
job.
And it's my understanding from the various gossip subreddits that I lurk in that Justin Bieber's having some trouble.
He's had a little bit of a rough time
right now. It looks like he's
last year
going
and a half,
through
2 years.
Well, and I think he was also victimized.
All the stuff with
as
Diddy
a kid.
coming out. Yeah, he's
having a rough one. And so I think that if he does something weird, I just want to be on stage for this, people aren't going to be like, no, that's out of character, because there's no such thing as out of character.
There's no such thing in character for him right now.
Staying in and reading a book maybe, but
So this guy, not Justin Bieber, he's up there on stage and he's moving like Justin Bieber. He's roughly the same size. He fools the majority of the crowd. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. It's all these videos that are taken. When he gets done singing Sorry, he waves to the packed crowd, leaves the stage or whatever. DJ Griffin posts this video of him on Instagram of him right after the set, right? He's walking away saying, how amazing was that? Direct quote, right?
Yeah.
And then someone comes up and tells him, nah, that wasn't Justin Bieber. That was 100% a fake out. Some pretender. Once again, pretty much direct quote.
Yeah.
You see DJ Griffin realize he just got conned. And he's not pissed, though. Not like the guy in New Orleans was when I tricked him. He's just a little bummed, right? So then DJ Griffin says in the video, the only indication he had that it wasn't Justin Bieber was, quote, I literally thought he's put on a lot of weight since the album dropped.
in 2 weeks.
Such a Vegas comment.
Right.
Also a very LA comment anyway.
Yeah.
So I did find a tweet from someone who was there that night at Club XS. They posted this on X. So Trin Bean, with 2 N's, said, quote, can someone explain why this is a thing? Going this far to look like somebody? Or are him and Justin working together to promote something? Not gonna lie, he almost had me fooled and clearly had all these other people fooled. Once I got in his face, nah. I'm like, come on, Trin Bean, you were fooled. Don't lie.
You're 100% fooled. You were texting people like, oh my God, look at him. Yeah,
exactly. I got in Justin Bieber's face.
That would be an interesting promotional thing for the album.
I think that'd be amazing, yeah.
And then
all
it drums
lookalikes.
it up and look at us. We're talking about it. I didn't even know we had an album.
And now we're helping out with the album sales.
Well played, Bieber.
So not Justin Bieber is actually this 29-year-old Frenchman named Dylan Desclos. And this is what he does for a living. He's been imitating Justin Bieber for years.
Oh, no.
Which helps explain how he was able to con somebody in the nightclub, right? But how did he con the folks at Wynn Las Vegas? Arrange a fake surprise show. He's got to coordinate it with them. Remember, they went up and told the DJ. Well, great question, Elizabeth. I got an answer for you.
Thank you.
For answers, we turn to Las Vegas entertainment reporter John Katz, a.k.a. John Katzolamides.
Yes.
You know this guy?
Familiar, yes.
Yeah. Now, as he reported, the not Justin Bieber contacted Wynn Las Vegas, or rather, his team did. And as John Katz put it, quote, the people who helped him execute this contacted the Wynn Resort and Wynn nightlife executives during the day on Saturday and said, we're going to have Justin Bieber in town and we'd like to have a table and a VIP set up. So it sounds legit to them, right?
Sure.
That helps sell the lie initially. But wouldn't the Wynn folks kind of sniff out a faker if not everything's correct, not the right email account, so forth? Well, as John Katz explains, the Wynn people thought that this was the real Justin Bieber. Now, he's had a shuffle in his management, and Justin Bieber's world is a little inconsistent to begin with. So they were saying, okay, well, he just had an album drop, Swag, last month. So they said, okay. So they believe it. Same thing you said, basically. He's going through a spell. This may be Justin Bieber. Who knows?
Who's to say?
So also, the not Justin Bieber, he had laid some really solid groundwork earlier in the day on social media. How? Well, back to John Katz. Before they came over to the Wynn, they were at the Las Vegas Premium Outlets in Symphony Park.
No, stop it.
They were seen there, and they also visited the Esplanade shops, and they were in the Balenciaga. They were seen coming out of there. So
They're
basically,
at the factory outlets.
exactly, this not Justin Bieber pops over to the factory outlets, schmoozes with the people. He poses for photos like, hey, I'm also trying to get a Chanel bag on the cheap. So then that night at the club, though, after the lie gets exposed, and as John Katz tells it, quote, people who were there who'd seen him perform and said, this is not him. This ain't happening. But that's not all, because not Justin Bieber also had enjoyed all the perks of stardom. Remember that VIP stuff?
Oh, yeah.
He got bottle service. So now, as John Katz explains, quote, his team had come in expecting to have been comped bottle service at their booth, and by the time he left, he had to sign off for almost $10,000 since he's not getting comped. So now, oops, not Justin Bieber is on the hook for $10,000 for his stunt, or at least his credit card was, or someone's credit card was. Once the ruse gets exposed, the Wynn folks, not only do they make him pay up, they also ban him from ever coming back to the Wynn casinos. Now, he's a Frenchman. What does he care? You know?
But also, it's like the $10,000 for that bottle service is like literally they're giving him like $40 worth of alcohol.
Oh, yeah. It's such a ripoff. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So the Frenchman, as I said, Dylan Desclose, he's been doing this imitation game for a long minute, around 6 years. And he's successful over in Europe doing this. He's got a YouTube channel where he posts his shows as a tribute act. In fact, last year, Justin Bieber's wife, Hailey Bieber, was shown a TikTok of this Frenchman. Like, it was filmed while he was on a train. And she said, and I quote, I'm scared. Like, he could fool even her.
Yeah, and she's like, but would he be nice to me? Okay.
Would he be more present? This all started when people told this not Justin Bieber that he looked a hell of a lot like the real Justin Bieber. And he's like, maybe I can make a career out of this. And he did. As he put it in an interview with the outlet Need to Know from the United Kingdom, quote, a lot of people told me that I look like Justin Bieber in the past. However, I do make sure to dress like him. I think our similarities, looks-wise, more are some points of our faces and definitely our attitudes. Huh? Now, likewise, when I'm on stage, I need to be the most Justin I can be. And I think I'm good at mimicking him. I became a lookalike simply by going to a Justin Bieber concert. I took a lot of photos and I thought it was super cool. So he went to a concert and pretended to be Justin Bieber.
And then it became his career and his identity.
He also said when it comes to the reactions to his whole tribute act, quote, I would say that the best and funniest reactions I got was people thinking I was Justin and knocking on my hotel door at 2 a.m. There were so many of them taking pictures and asking me to sign pictures as Justin Bieber. So he really gets off on this.
How, on the list of like, what should we do tonight? How far down is Justin Bieber tribute show?
Pretty low down there.
Right?
I think it's underneath, like, change my oil by hand. So there was at the other end of the spectrum things that when it doesn't go so well for not Justin Bieber, as he told the UK outlet Need to Know, quote, the worst reaction I had to the public, I would say, was being mobbed with crying and hugs. I do understand very well that the power of love for Justin, so it's nothing that bothers me. So he's got these people fake crying on him thinking they're meeting Justin.
Which, again, I don't understand that either. Yes. I mean, there are musicians where I'm like, dude, you like saved my life. I would never cry and chase them and go to their hotel.
But we're talking more, I think, imagine like teen fandom. It's that whole like Beatlemania screaming at the Met Stadium.
Those are grown folks.
That's probably true. Like, yeah, you're probably right.
I know I'm right.
Some like 33-year-old business associate from like, I don't know, a restaurant chain in Omaha, Nebraska is over there crying on their shoulder. You changed my life, Justin. I know I did, Millie. So that's our appetizer for today.
Yes.
Next up, after this break, we'll get into the main meal. It's a really good story, a story of a woman who pretended to be Aretha Franklin. And it changed her whole life.
Oh, no.
Back after this basket of ads, fresh out of the oven, warm and delicious, enough for everyone.
Yummers.
We're back, Elizabeth.
Hello.
You ready to get down and get soulful with an Aretha Franklin con job?
Yeah.
So I first saw this story in an excellent article from Smithsonian Magazine. I'm a subscriber.
Love Smithsonian
Recommended.
Magazine.
Totally. The article was a long-form piece called The Counterfeit Queen of Soul, A Strange and Bittersweet Ballad of Kidnapping, Stolen Identity, and Unlikely Stardom by Jeff Maish. Now, we've covered stories similar to this one. For instance, Los Beatles Americanos.
Right.
Remember, a.k.a. the American Beatles, who did a tour of South America, passing themselves off as the actual Beatles while conning the locals for fun and profit. Now, that same sort of con job was also going down in the UK back in the day, especially for R&B acts in like the late 50s, starting with like Little Richard, and later Motown acts and soul singers in the 60s, because back then Americans would hop over the pond, pretend to be Diana Ross and the Supremes, or pretend to be the Temptations, or James Brown, or whoever.
Yeah.
And this worked really well because the fans in the UK and over in Europe, like continental Europe, they didn't exactly know what the R&B performers looked like.
Yeah.
They knew what they sounded like, but they weren't saturated with media the way we are, so it was a lot easier to fake.
Well, and the images they'd see like in magazines weren't particularly high res.
No, there's also that, or even on the posters.
Yeah.
So it wasn't also, by the way, just the Brits and the Europeans who got conned like this, because this also went down in the States.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Now, these days, as I said, it's much more difficult to pull off a not Justin Bieber because it's so easy to see where stars actually are right now. Like, you can just check their social media and be like, that's not Sabrina Carpenter because she's in Toronto right now. I just saw her on Instagram, or whoever you like. Now, obviously, this was not the case in the late 60s when our story takes place.
Yeah.
So, you ready?
TikTok really wasn't popping off then.
No, it was
like very niche.
Totally. It was like 8mm reels.
Yeah,
It sucked.
Yeah, not everyone had it.
So, Elizabeth, I'd like you to meet Mary Jane Jones.
Hi.
She was a young black woman who very much wanted to earn the same R.E.S.P.E.C.T that Aretha Franklin enjoyed. She looked up to the Queen of Soul, and she wanted what Aretha had. She wanted to be a star, too, because she certainly knew what it was like to not have much at all. And she's like, this sucks.
Right.
I'd like to do that. And Aretha came from, Aretha didn't come from poverty per se, but she was like, I want what Aretha has gained as a young black woman in the 60s.
Right.
So she, by the way, Mary Jane Jones, she was raised in rural Petersburg, Virginia. I'm not sure if you're familiar. I don't know it. But she had a house without indoor plumbing. We're talking in the late 60s. And then, as things do, life came at her pretty fast.
Yeah.
She dropped out of school after 10th grade. She got married at 19. Sadly, her husband passed away, leaving her to be a widow with a young son.
Oof.
That was rough on her.
Yeah.
Things didn't improve much when she remarried. Her new husband gave her 3 more sons, but he was also a violent drunk. So she divorced him. Now she's a single mother in rural Virginia with 4 young sons.
Oh, man.
And the year is 1968.
Yeah.
So she still has a dream, though, of making it as a star. So to make ends meet, she performed at the local gospel music group, the Great Gates of Petersburg. She had this tremendous voice, like a big, full-throated voice, the kind that sings out like up to the angels in heaven, right? Just like a real soul singer voice. Only trouble for her was she was untrained. She couldn't read music. She just had natural-born talent.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, as Mary Jane Jones put it, quote, I don't know one note from the next, but what talent I got from God. And as you know, Elizabeth, that's also how I sing. I don't know one note from the next. Except for God forgot to give me any musical talent whatsoever. But this is how I sing. So I related to her immediately.
Yes.
But anyway, by 1969, Mary Jane Jones was 27 years old. She'd been singing with her gospel group at this point for 6 years. The leader of her gospel group was this cat named Reverend Billy Lee. And he said of her talent, I had to teach most of the folks in my groups, but that was one young lady I did not have to teach soul. Right? So like I said, natural-born talent.
Yeah.
And she was also a natural-born performer. Like when she sang, emotions came out of her like the way they did from Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Right? In that way that the audience could feel her longing, her ache, her blues, her pain, her love. Sometimes she would even cry while she was singing. I'm talking like real tears.
Yeah.
She moved herself with her songs, right?
Yeah.
Other times she'd be sweating in that rural Virginia heat, and then the beads of perspiration ran down her face like this little tiny rivers of sweat. I mean, she felt it when she was singing. So people were like, oh my God, that's so real.
Yeah.
But singing gospel music wasn't enough to feed her growing boys. So to earn a little extra scratch for her family, Mary Jane also performed some of that music her fellow gospel singers would call the devil's music. So to do that, she often worked at local nightclubs. She performed as part of a revue-style show where she sang as an Aretha Franklin tribute act. They didn't call it tribute acts back then. She'd just be like a Aretha Franklin cover song or like a Aretha Franklin, imitator.
Well, no, it's because you don't really, like you're saying, it's a review, so I think she was probably doing more than just Aretha tunes.
Yeah,
a songbook, and you don't have like live, big name acts coming through and people want to hear someone sing and do
Totally.
live music. Yeah.
If you're in Petersburg, Virginia, and you're like, you're willing to do Aretha, I'm willing to pay, whatever the dollar to get in.
Yeah.
So this earned her, on average, $10 a night to play these different nightclubs in the area. And now she had a backing R&B band, and they would play the latest hits. And so they knew all of Aretha's songbook. She was really good on Aretha's song Think, right? And so when Mary Jane Jones laid into Aretha's lyrics, she would like sing to her imagined lover, and the audience, they truly felt her lonesome heart, right? Like I said, the emotions poured out of her. But her gospel group could never know about the sinning she was doing on Saturday nights. Otherwise, it would risk her check that she's taking care of her boys with, right? If they ever learned about her moonlight gig, she'd be dumped from the gospel group. So she came up with this persona. She performed under a stage name, Miss Vicky Jones. And she'd pull on a wig and go out and transform into the star to be Miss Vicky Jones.
I love this.
Right? And she was damn good. She sang rock songs. She sang whatever the people wanted to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
But eventually word still got back to the leader of her gospel group, the good Reverend Billy Lee.
Yeah.
Now, one Saturday night, he dips into the nightclub. He's tucked in the back of this darkened club. He's watching the show. And Mary Jane Jones, a.k.a. Miss Vicky Jones, didn't spot her boss in the crowd. She just went ahead with her show. Meanwhile, old Reverend Billy Lee, he's watching, and he starts to worry about his like star singer's everlasting soul and how she's putting it at risk, and also risking her spot in heaven with her blues act and the Aretha Franklin tribute songs. As he tells it, he didn't confront her right away. In fact, he didn't confront her that night. Instead, he just said a little prayer to himself.
Say a little prayer?
Oh, he did. He really, right? He's like, don't lecture her. Don't preach to her. She'll be all right. Now, however, he did worry, as I said, about how she would manage if she got out into the dangerous world of show business and nightclub singers.
Yeah.
As he recalled it, he thought to himself, when she goes in these situations, things could get out of hand. Elizabeth, I'm here to tell you things got out of hand.
Oh, I can imagine. This is very much like the Parks and Rec storyline with Ron has an alter ego who plays in nightclubs called Duke Silver.
Really?
He's a saxophone player.
Love this.
And that's basically what I'm imagining. So she now looks like Ron Swanson in my head.
There you go. With the mustache?
With the mustache. That's what she looks like.
And the saxophone?
Yeah, and like a fedora.
Okay.
Duke Silver.
I got to check that show sometime.
You really do. It's amazing.
So, as I said, things got out of hand. And, of course, this goes down in a nightclub. It was the winter of 1968, and she was performing at a nightclub called the Pink Garter. That name should tell you everything you need to know. The club was in Richmond, Virginia. It used to be a grocery store. But by the time Miss Vicky Jones was performing, it had been converted into the Pink Garter.
The Pink Garter?
Yes.
And it's like, let's say it's not a supermarket.
No.
It's a grocery store. I'm imagining like the kind of cavernous interior.
Yeah, no, don't. Just imagine like a lot of tables. Maybe is it candles on the tables? I don't know.
I think a lot of people get up to no good.
The deli section's now a bar.
Pink Garter.
So the house band was called the Rivernets, right? And the leader of that band was the same man who ran the Pink Garter. His stage name was the Great Hosea, right? And his mama called him Fenroy Fox.
That's a great stage name.
Right? That's what I was thinking when I read this. Why change the name to the Great Hosea?
Maybe he doesn't want,
maybe he's worried about his mama finding out.
Yeah.
So as the Great Hosea told the Smithsonian Magazine, the Pink Garter was a black nightclub. Quote, it was 90% black in there. Everything changed after Martin Luther King got killed. Blacks were staying in black places. People were scared because, remember he died in 68, so this is fresh.
Right.
So the folks went to places that they felt safe, like the Pink Garter. Mm-hmm. And that's where things all changed for Mary Jones, a.k.a. Miss Vicky Jones. So the Great Hosea, he's leading the Rivernets with their rendition of Aretha Franklin's huge hit, R.E.S.P.E.C.T. And when Miss Vicky Jones steps up to the mic and she lets her big voice fill up that room, that former grocery store.
Yeah.
And in the dark and dimly lit air of this club, the folks there at the Pink Garter that night, you could have told them this was Aretha Franklin, and most of them would have believed it was true. Mm-hmm. That's how much she sounded, but not only sounded, but looked like Aretha.
Really?
Oh, yeah. But it wasn't just them who saw and heard this similarity to the Queen of Soul. One of the other acts performing that night, he saw Miss Vicky Jones singing, and he heard dollar signs.
Yeah.
Now, enter Lavelle Hardy.
Oh, Lavelle.
Lavelle wasn't from Virginia or even from the South. He was a New York City hairdresser, and he looked like one. He wore his hair in this high pompadour, like 6 inches off his head. My favorite fun fact about Lavelle Hardy was that in 1968, he had a near-hit song of his own called Don't Lose Your Groove. It reached number 42 on the charts.
Did you listen to it?
I did not, but I did find a fun fact for you.
Yeah.
It topped out just below a parody song by Bill Cosby called Hooray for the Salvation Army Band.
Oh, dear.
That's what it was behind. It did not pass that song.
Didn't pass it up.
That song was from the album Bill Cosby Sings Hooray for the Salvation Army Band.
It's so
with
good.
An exclamation
I've
point.
worn my copy out.
From what I found, that track was a comedic knockoff of Jimi Hendrix's song Purple Haze.
Wait.
Yes.
So the Bill Cosby.
The Bill Cosby song Hooray for the Salvation Army Band was a knockoff of Jimi Hendrix's song Purple Haze. Yeah. And the album cover, he looks like Jim Croce. He's got this big, bushy mustache, and he's got a kind of like a semi-hippie gig going on.
What is even happening right now?
Elizabeth, I got to tell you, none of what I just said makes any sense to me.
No,
So I have no answers
lost.
for you.
How does one get... Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, back to the pompadour Lavelle Hardy. After he watched Miss Vicki Jones do her best impression of Aretha Franklin at the Pink Garter, he thought to himself, she's identical from head to toe. She's got the complexion, she got the looks, she got the height, she got the tears, she got everything. So the wheels in his devious mind start spinning, and what I haven't told you yet is Lavelle Hardy earned $200 per night working as a James Brown impersonator.
Stop!
Yes,
this is getting
thus
really
the pompadour,
good.
and thus he knew Miss Vicki Jones as a fake Aretha Franklin could be worth at least that much. And she looked more like her than he looked like James.
Yeah.
So the next weekend, Vicki Jones was back in Richmond performing at the Executive Motor Inn, and Lavelle Hardy turned up at the gig. After she does her act, he makes his pitch. He steps up to her and he tells her she could be making way more money with him than she could be making in these Virginia spots. He told her about all the money to be made down in Florida. That's where they pay for live music. So Lavelle Hardy was what we call a natural-born operator.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And as such, he told Miss Jones that whatever she needed to hear to sign on to his plan to tour Florida and, exploit her talents.
Right.
So he told her for an upcoming tour he was planning, he wanted her to open for Aretha Franklin. He would pay her $1,000 for a 6-city tour. That's 6 shows.
Yeah.
That's 100 times what she was making for one night in rural Virginia.
But wait, she's going to open for Aretha as an Aretha impersonator?
No, just as Miss Vicki Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the offer it's too tempting for her to say no.
But is she going to do other songs aside from Aretha's?
No, yeah, she's going to do like her own song choices.
Okay.
Be they what they are.
Sure.
So Mary Jane Jones, she went to a man she knew, a cat named Harold Big Daddy Strayhorn.
Oh, Big Daddy.
And he was a local band leader and a money lender, apparently, because she borrowed the cash from him that she'd need for a bus ticket down to Florida. So this was going to be the first time she'd ever gone on a tour without the Reverend Billy Lee and his gospel group.
Yeah.
So she was truly going to be out in the world on her own, the thing that he feared.
Right.
Now, she sent her 4 boys to stay with her mother, and she packed for Florida. And then, as the bus headed south, she watched the world change shape from her window seat.
Right.
All right, so when she arrives in Melbourne, Florida, she linked up with Lavelle Hardy, and she was super eager to start her new life as an opening act for her hero, Aretha Franklin.
Right.
And that's when Lavelle burst her naive bubble. She wasn't going to be the opening act for Aretha. Instead, she was going to go out there and she was going to be Aretha. You see, he'd conned her, Elizabeth. He told her exactly whatever she needed to hear to get her down to Melbourne, Florida, and now she's stuck because she doesn't have the money to buy a bus ticket back home. There's no Big Daddy Strayhorn down in Florida that she knows.
Yeah.
So she's like, and also she doesn't have the money to pay him back when she gets back.
Yeah, no, she's got to earn while she's there.
Exactly. But she did still have her integrity. So she said, no, I do not. And he's like, no. So Lavelle's like arguing with her. She's like, I don't want to be Aretha. I mean, I want to be like Aretha. She's like, I want to be Miss Vicki Jones.
Sure.
Now, that's when Lavelle treated her like the naive country girl that she was. He told her if she didn't get up on that stage and tell those nice folks in Melbourne, Florida that she was Aretha, he could make her life hell. As the Tampa Bay Times later reported, Lavelle threatened her saying that, quote, "You down here broke and don't know anybody, and you are Aretha Franklin." So,
no.
And then he went further than that. He, quote, threatened to throw me in the bay. And not only that, she couldn't swim. She was also deathly afraid of the water. So he hit the one
everything.
button to hit. So now this pompadoured fake James Brown tribute act guy further threatens her. Your body can easily be disposed of in the water.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So that's when she entertained what Lavelle had in mind.
Yeah, what else are you going to do?
Totally, right? She's basically been kidnapped.
Yeah.
So he tells her again that while they're in Florida, quote, "You are Aretha Franklin." Now, next up, Lavelle, he works the local promoters. He tells them his client, Miss Franklin, was in town looking to do some shows. Now, typically, she charged $20,000 a night.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that. But for them, she'd be willing to book shows for the low, low price of $7,000 a night. Why? Well, because the crowds in rural Florida would be smaller than her shows up north or out west in places like Las Vegas. So one local Florida promoter, he goes for it.
And none of them were like, why is she desperate for a gig out here?
In the winter, too. Not even tourist season.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking January of 1969.
I mean, she's working out new material maybe, but like even then,
No. And so Mary Jane Jones tells reporters after that same local promoter saw her first perform, he thought I really was Aretha. And he acts accordingly.
Well,
he, quote, offered to arrange a detective to protect me and a car for my convenience.
Which Aretha would have been like, yes, please.
Oh, totally. You know that.
Yeah.
So, of course, Lavelle Hardy was like, no cops are necessary now. So that same local promoter, he booked gigs for the Aretha Franklin Review. And Mary Jane Jones, a.k.a. Miss Vicky Jones, went out there night after night, and she does her best impression of Aretha. The crowds, they love it, Elizabeth. Most of them were convinced that what they were seeing and what they were hearing was the real Queen of Soul, the Soul Sister #1. Even if it was some small podunk town in rural Florida and it made no sense that Aretha would be playing their little theater or nightclub, they're like, no, of course she'd be here. They decided to believe their lying eyes over the obvious truth before them. Now, at the end of each night's show, Miss Jones, she would rush back to her dressing room because she didn't want to talk to anybody. And then that way she could avoid the crowds. And then she would go back there and just cry about what she was doing. And then after she was done crying, she would eat one of the 2 hamburgers that Lavelle gave her each day as her food for the tour.
What?
She got 2 hamburgers a day.
Like the wimpy diet?
Totally. Exactly.
Just living on burgers?
Yeah, like 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. And
God.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's like kibble for a dog.
Yeah, then she's like, packed off to the motel room where he would like hide his star act.
Oh my God. She's basically being trafficked.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a rough first 3 nights, first 3 shows, but Lavelle Hardy, he was making money hand over fist. So he wanted to book bigger and bigger shows, which meant bigger and bigger cities, which also meant it would get harder and harder to con the Florida crowds into thinking, that's Aretha.
Right.
So as Miss Jones told Jet magazine, quote, I wanted to tell everybody beforehand that I was not Miss Franklin, but Lavelle said the show promoters would do something awful to me if they learned who I really was. I was scared. I didn't have any money, no place to go. So, like I said, she's got basically...
She's a hostage.
She's been kidnapped, she's a hostage, and she's left to the whims of Lavelle.
Yeah.
So she kept, play acting as best she could as the real deal Queen of Soul. She'd step out onto the stage, she'd become Aretha, she would close her eyes and let her natural talents just shine out of her. Because remember, she can sound like Aretha.
Sure.
And under low lights, she looks like Aretha.
Yeah.
So she'd let those notes reach up to the heavens just like Aretha did. And in fact, her Aretha act was super convincing to like most everyone except for her.
Yeah.
At one show, the owner of the venue recalled that, quote, some people who had seen Aretha before said that wasn't her, but nobody was real sure. And even those doubts washed away because other showgoers would shout at the stage, that's her, that's Aretha.
Yeah.
And these are direct quotes, by the way, from the newspaper at the time.
But I love that, like, have you ever gone to a show and been in the crowd and be like, that's Jack White?
No.
Yes, that is Jack White up
I'm
there.
telling you, brothers, that is my man, Jack White. Jackson!
There's I didn't know it was in question. Like,
No.
so obviously they're talking about it in the crowd.
There is some debate. Yeah, but I think it's more so because some people are like shoo-shooing it, and they're like, no, that's Aretha. I don't know. I know 2 things. Sun's coming up tomorrow, and that's Aretha Franklin. So when Miss Jones would leave the stage, she would get carried off by thunderous applause. I'm talking screams and shouts of the adoring fans of the real Aretha Franklin, because they got to see Aretha right here in like Bradenton, Florida.
Yeah.
At one venue, she gets this standing ovation, right? And so like some twisted, like Faustian bargain, she found that she'd gotten what she'd once dreamed of when she wanted to sing before the audiences and be a star, and the audience responding with all their heart, and everyone's like overcome by her voice, her presence, her star potential, the ache of her soul, her transcendent voice. She got it all.
Yeah.
But not really.
No.
So it was nothing like what she wanted. It was her dream, but
very
living
monkey's
it,
paw.
it felt like a nightmare. Yeah. One scripted by Lavelle Hardy.
Lavelle.
So of course, a scam like this one can only go on for so long. Eventually, someone whose job it is to make money off the real Aretha Franklin is going to hear about this, and then it's all going to go. Now, okay, let's take a little break. And after these messages, the real Aretha Franklin comes into this little morality play, and the temptation of Vicky Jones goes in a whole different direction.
Oh, Miss Franklin.
We're back, Elizabeth.
Yes, we are.
You enjoy this so far?
I'm loving this.
I thought it'd be a nice change of pace.
I like it.
So you ready to hear how this long con goes belly up?
Of course.
At this point, it's the middle of January 1969, and Mary Jones is booked to play a show in Ocala, Florida. It's a 4,200-seat venue, which is, I don't know about you, but if you told me that Aretha Franklin was booked to play the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion, I would have been a bit doubtful. But this is the biggest venue Miss Jones has seen yet, right?
Well, what'd you say? It's 4,200?
4,200-seat venue.
That's a pretty good size.
Oh, yeah. It's like an exposition hall that she's playing in at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion. That's the spot where Florida cattlemen auctioned off livestock. Yeah. So, I mean, I know
and Aretha's going to rock stick.
Right? I mean, I know that, yes, folks play like county fairs.
Well, and out here,
Cow Palace.
The Cow Palace in San Francisco. I've seen Metallica play at the Cow Palace.
But they don't still sell cows there.
They do.
Do they?
No, they used to.
Yeah, they used to. They've stopped as they
No, but they have other stuff that's like, non-music. It's, they have like funny car rally.
Totally,
or like they have like gem convention type things. And,
it's a big
Metallica.
Space. Yeah. But normally if you see someone in like the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion, it's at the end of their musical career, not when they're a huge Grammy-winning star at the start of their stardom.
County fair material.
Yeah.
Which the go-to county fair people in the Bay Area now, for years was Tower of Power.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They always played Alameda County Fair. And now I'm finding that E40
Oh, yeah.
Plays
E40
a lot of
and
county.
Too Short.
They play a lot of county fairs.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you know what? We can get drunk before we go on stage. They'll pay us. It's very, very limited effort.
There's not going to be anyone here from the music industry.
Don't have to go far.
We don't have to worry about a music review.
Exactly. But I see him on all sorts of crazy low rent.
Oh, yeah.
bills.
You see him on the posters attached to like light poles and when you're driving past.
Yeah.
So this is basically how you fleece suckers because they don't question the obvious tells like Aretha Franklin being booked to play the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion in the dead of winter. If they believe that, you've already done half the work.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, all around Ocala, Florida, Lavelle had posters slapped up that advertised Queen of Soul was coming to town.
Oh, yeah,
you better act fast. Get your tickets now, right? And not only that, he also got the word out on the local black radio stations that also helped to sell the con job.
Sure.
Because if it's on the radio, how could it not be true?
Right.
You see that these days with TV and the internet. And the internet. It's like, well, it must be true. This guy is saying it.
Yeah.
So the next show would be the biggest crowd yet, as I said, for Mary Jane Jones. And the prospect of fooling 4,200 people at the same time had her nerves. Like she was basically as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Right? Then a bit of heavenly intervention occurs, the kind that shattered her Faustian bargain with Lavelle Hade. You see, just before that show went down, the local prosecutor of Marion County received a phone call. On the other end was Aretha Franklin's attorney. He was calling from New York City. He'd been busy arranging the real Aretha Franklin's upcoming shows in Miami, Florida, when he heard from promoters in Florida, the ones working down in the Sunshine State, that his client was already working stages in rural Florida.
Stop. Oh, that's so good.
He's obviously thrown by this. This is news to him, Elizabeth. And so he starts asking the obvious questions. Now, who did what and where? What shows? Can you tell me dates? Can you tell me spots, locations, venues? Who owns that venue? All the questions.
Yeah.
Once he gets to the bottom of Lavelle's scam and basically tracking the progress of this fake Aretha Franklin's real lawyer phones the Marion County prosecutor and informs them of what all he's learned. The prosecutor's like, yeah, we got Aretha Franklin in town. My wife's a big fan, and we got tickets to go see her at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion. Aretha's lawyer's like, what? Well, I got some bad news for your wife.
Yeah.
The prosecutor, he springs into action. He phones the chief investigator over at the Marion County Sheriff's Office. He tells this chief investigator, who's basically the chief of detectives, he wants the imposter arrested and locked up post-haste.
Yeah.
The chief investigator's like, you ain't got to tell me twice when and where is this show. So this particular investigator, he wasn't your typical small-town southern sheriff. In fact, he and his partner were both known to wear fancy suits and kind of fancy themselves as investigators as opposed to sheriff's detectives.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And basically what I'm saying is, Elizabeth, these two men had notions.
Oh.
And yeah, they got in swole heads already after they'd been interviewed for like Detective Magazine. And then also they provided security for Elvis when he was in Ocala shooting a movie. Like they know show business now.
They're show folks.
So they told the Marion County prosecutor, don't you worry, Hoss. We'll go get justice for Aretha Franklin.
Oh, my God.
And now, before I tell you about that, Elizabeth, I'd like you to do me one favor. I'd like you to close your eyes.
My eyes are closed.
And I'd like you to picture it. It's sound check at the Ocala's Club Valley nightclub. Lavelle Hardy is running the scene. Meanwhile, the star of the show, the one and only Aretha Franklin, is running through her planned set for her upcoming show. At the moment, you, Elizabeth, are behind the bar since you're a bartender at the Club Valley nightclub. You're pretending to get ready for the night to come, but really you're just watching this show and sound check. Normally, you wouldn't show up to work so early to get ready for the Saturday night, but how often is Aretha Franklin in your nightclub? As you towel off highball glasses and arrange them for the night's drinking to come, you watch Aretha Franklin sing her song, Think. Her voice is strong, just like it is on the albums. Even for just a sound check, it sounds amazing. And it's just you, her pompadoured manager, and the club owner. It's a super intimate setting. What a rare treat, you think. This makes up for all the nights you have to mop up, puke, and clean the toilet after a long Saturday night. It's all worth it for these moments. After Aretha finishes her song, the club falls quiet. Her pompadoured manager steps up on stage and whispers some notes in her ear. Now, you can't hear what he's saying. Instead, you hear a knock at the club door. It's a loud, insistent knock. It sounds like it's the police. When the club owner gets up, checks that he has his gun on him, he walks over to the door. His shoes sound against the club's hard floor. And then he opens the door. It turns out it is the cops. 2 detectives flash their badges and then push their way into the empty nightclub. On stage, Aretha and her manager both freeze in place. They both look about as guilty as a kid who's caught with his hand in the cookie jar. The cops announce, "Don't move a muscle. You're both under arrest." What the hell, you think to yourself? What could Aretha Franklin done to be treated like this? The cops frisk them both. You watch as the cops pull $7,000 out of the suit pockets of Aretha's pompadoured manager. After that, out come the handcuffs. He and Aretha are both handcuffed and then perp-walked out to the waiting police car. You follow behind the officers, not quite believing this is happening. You watch as the 2 sheriff detectives shove the pompadoured manager and then Aretha Franklin into the back seat of the police car. It's a brand new '69 Pontiac. The car is clean. Aretha sits in the back and she stares back at you. You mutter to yourself, that is no way to treat the Queen of Soul. And then you hear the club owner say, "You idiot, I don't know who that is, but it ain't no Aretha Franklin." So there you go, Elizabeth, your moment with the show. So what they were doing was a sound check before they did the big 42-seat. She just needed somewhere to perform, so he leaned on some venue like, maybe we'll come back here and do a show for you.
Right.
Now, after Lavelle and Miss Vicki Jones were both arrested and booked for their fake Aretha Franklin show, this story takes off. It leads to national headlines.
Oh, really?
As the Flint Journal of Flint, Michigan reported on January 23rd, 1969, from a syndicated story by the Associated Press, quote, Dateline, Ocala, Florida. An itinerant male hairdresser was jailed Wednesday after police say he staged a, quote, Aretha Franklin show by forcing a penniless Virginia girl to pose on stage as the $20,000 a week soul singer from Detroit.
Well, at least they're casting it that she's
in the right light.
Yeah, not an accomplice.
Totally. The story goes on from there to report that, quote, Lavelle Hardy, 24, of New York, was booked into Marion County Jail under a $500 bond on false advertising charges after he bought ads for the Aretha Franklin Review for Thursday night at a 4,000-seat exposition hall. Meanwhile, when the Marion County prosecutor speaks with the Miss Vicki Jones, a.k.a. Mary Jane Jones, she tells him about how she'd borrowed money to come to Florida and that she thought she'd be performing under her own name. But instead, Lavelle, he threatened her. He kept her in motel rooms. He was feeding her just 2 hamburgers a day. It all becomes clear to this prosecutor that, as you've noticed, she's the victim. She ain't a perp.
Yeah.
So in a story I found from the Tampa Bay Times, the Marion County prosecutor told reporters how, quote, I'm sure glad we found out about this thing. There are going to be thousands of people from all over the Southeast for the show. She couldn't have fooled all of those people. No telling what they would have done to the pavilion. And it could have been far worse when she got to Tampa or Jacksonville.
Yeah, they don't play.
No, think of the pavilion, people.
God, not my beautiful
Where are we going to sell our livestock if something happens to the pavilion?
We have a full schedule.
Yes, exactly.
We got nowhere to divert that.
We got a truck pull on Sunday.
Yes, exactly.
So he tells reporters that he's decided to file charges after, quote, the real Aretha Franklin agreed to testify in criminal court here.
Stop.
Aretha was willing to come down.
They just wanted to get an excuse to get her down there.
Oh, my God, yes. He's like, what? Okay, book the show. Book the trial.
Yeah.
So as one of the sheriff's detectives did point out, quote, if it was a drag, Aretha would have gotten mad, but this girl went over. So he's basically saying, like, that's why Aretha ain't too pissed. Homegirl did her right.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth, the Queen of Soul, wasn't mad at Miss Vicky Jones for pretending to be her.
Yeah.
She was only mad at the itinerant male hairdresser,
I would imagine so.
Lavelle Hardy.
I'd imagine so.
Now, in fact, Aretha told Jet magazine, quote, he ought to be prosecuted, not that girl.
Aww.
Right? Go on, Aretha.
Yeah.
Now, however, this wasn't up to Aretha to decide. That was up to the job of the Marion County prosecutor, and he still needed to be fully convinced because anybody can say anything, right? So to prove her side of the story, he asked Miss Vicky Jones, you sing from me. Let me hear your Aretha. So when Miss Vicky Jones opens her mouth, she hits him with her natural talent, and after he heard her sing, this Marion County prosecutor concluded, this girl is a singer. She is terrific. Just singing without a combo. She showed she had a distinctive style all her own.
What was the point of that demonstration?
I don't know. So she convinces him that she is the real deal and that Lavelle had conned this simple girl from rural Virginia into doing this Florida long con.
Yeah.
And as the Marion County prosecutor told reporters, she didn't have a red cent. She had 4 children at home and no way to get to them. We were thoroughly convinced that Vicky was forced into being Aretha Franklin. It was obvious she was a victim. So now as a result, Miss Vicky Jones was placed in protective custody and she faces no charges.
Yeah.
Then, when she's released from the courthouse, she was met by this gaggle of reporters because it's now a national news story and they all want to get their angle. So Vicky Jones tells the gathered newsmen, the judge said I really sounded like her. I know I can use a little training in singing jazz and the blues, but I feel I can go all the way. I don't believe there is such a word as can't. So she's like trying to sell herself like, could we get another little stage for me?
Yeah.
Now, as for her con job as Aretha, she also told reporters that, quote, I'm not her. I don't look like her, I don't dress like her, and I sure don't have her money. And in an exclusive interview with the Orlando Sentinel, she later said, I want the truth told. I have never met Aretha Franklin, and I have never seen her except on television. So at this point, you know, Aretha doesn't come back into the story. She doesn't come and meet her or anything.
Well, she should have at least kicked her down some money to get home.
That would be nice, right? But this isn't the end of this strange tale of impersonation because I have good news for you, Elizabeth.
I love good news.
This story has a happy ending.
Thank you.
You see, when Miss Vicky Jones stepped out of the Marion County courthouse, it wasn't just reporters waiting for her. There was also a self-made millionaire named Ray Green. Mm-hmm. He was smitten with her story. He wanted to offer her a legitimate show business place, a legit contract. And he paid her $500 to get her back home to Virginia. And then he offered to be her managing agent and her advisor. And he booked her a real deal, sold out tour all across Florida, performing as herself, Miss Vicky Jones.
Yeah.
Then enter jazz legend Duke Ellington.
Wait. What?
Yes. Just weeks after her arrest on February 8th, 1969, the Orlando Sentinel reported that, quote, erstwhile Aretha Franklin impersonator Mary Jane Jones performed under her own stage name here, Vicky Jones, with bandleader Duke Ellington and his band.
Stop!
Yes, her long, strange road to fame had finally paid off.
Wow.
When she stepped out on stage with Duke Ellington, he told his audience at the Civic Auditorium in Sanford, Florida, quote, I want to introduce you to a Florida girl who made national headlines 2 weeks ago. Now, he was wrong about the Florida part,
sure,
right?
But you know,
who's going to correct Duke Ellington?
Exactly.
So on stage, he gave her like an avuncular kiss on the cheek to like, you know, basically denote her being special. Yeah. And his photographers snapped photos of this like star-making moment. And back to the Orlando Sentinel, which reported that she appeared in an expensive-looking yellow ankle-length evening gown and without a wig.
Oh,
right?
well.
Fashion police all of a sudden. So when this band, Duke Ellington's band, begins to play the song Every Day I Have the Blues, Miss Jones stood before that microphone and began to sing the opening lyrics. Speaking of bad luck and trouble, well, you know I've had my share. And the crowd was transfixed, mesmerized by her natural talent, you know, the song choice. And you damn sure better believe they knew the blues she was singing was real.
Yes.
So her voice, it was basically as striking and as authentic as like a clap of thunder, right? They're like, oh, you cannot deny this. And as the Orlando Sentinel also reported, quote, Ellington said he is considering giving Miss Jones the chance of a lifetime, hiring her on for a 6-month contract. The very next month, in March of '69, the cover of Jet magazine featured Miss Vicky Jones.
Cover of Jet.
Star was born.
I love
and she told Jet magazine, "It was so exciting just to be in Duke's company, but he didn't know how I sing, and I didn't know how he play." For his part, Duke Ellington corrected that because he said of Miss Vicki Jones, "She's a good soul singer." But he also said that the obvious part out loud, it was time that she break the Aretha imitation and image.
Yeah.
She needed to have like her own, right? Now, months later, still following her story, national newspapers report on her progress to stardom. In the Progress Index newspaper, ironically, on May 11th, 1969, the paper reported that Duke Ellington had written 6 songs for an upcoming album for Miss Jones.
No.
Yeah, in an interview with the paper, Vicki Jones said, "It's going to be hard, but nothing's going to stop me from making it as a singer." And she added that, quote, "I want to do songs strictly about me, how I got started and how I love. Everything I write will be based on my life. I think people will be interested. I love the way I am. I like the many different people I meet. I want to take time to see the beauty of this world." Because remember, just from rural Virginia.
Yeah.
Now she's like about to go on national tours,
Yeah.
which is exactly what she did. She toured America singing as herself, and the people loved her. She played sold-out shows, not just in Florida now, but in New York, Chicago, Detroit, Las
Wow.
Vegas. She would arrive in a chauffeured limousine, just like Aretha Franklin. She was now earning $1,500 a night for her shows. It wasn't exactly Aretha Franklin money, but it was damn good money for 1969.
Yeah, it is. That's good money for now. $1,500 a night.
Totally. In fact, she became so popular that now there was a Vicki Jones impersonator playing shows pretending to be her.
Oh.
The story had come full circle.
I love
now she
it.
was the star for the Imitators.
I love it.
And when she heard about this pretender making money off of her name, Vicki Jones said, "She stopped now, but I don't hold anything against her. I know how it was to be hungry without any money, supporting a family, and to be separated from my husband." Now, this was awfully generous and gracious of her.
Yeah.
But after a year on the road playing sold-out shows, she returned home to Virginia, and she found that she missed her family, and her young boys needed her back home.
Yeah.
They were too much of a handful for her mother to take care of, so she decided to quit the stage. She walked away from her dreams of stardom, and she never went back. She only ever from this point on, performed songs for her 4 boys. And for them, she would occasionally belt out an Aretha Franklin song. But she also kept a framed copy of that March 1969 Jet magazine with her on the cover. It was this like very tangible reminder of her year as a bona fide star. A real live soul singer who played with Duke Ellington and performed for sold-out shows across the nation.
That's incredible.
Take that, Lavelle Hardy.
Oh, God.
So what's our ridiculous takeaway here, Elizabeth?
Oh, man. That was a wild ride. That was, the ups and downs of
You
that.
never see those curves coming.
No, I think one of the things we see this with like art forgers, that they're very, very talented if they'd only just do their own thing. And that's like with her, and it's just with the art world. With music, it's hard to break into it if you don't have the right connections or
the right
just
opportunities
luck.
because you're in some rural Virginia.
Yeah. And so, it's a shame that she wasn't able to, from the jump, just get the recognition with her own talents. But I love that she, at long last, got it and then got to like go out on top of everything she wanted.
Totally.
What's your ridiculous takeaway?
Mine is Lavelle Hardy. I mean, like, how do you not see him coming? You know what I mean? He's like
24-year-old itinerant hairdresser
from New York City, walking around in like rural Virginia, telling people, "I can make you money." I'm telling you. So that's just mine. It's like, come on now, you got to be suspicious of the Lavelle Hardys.
Oh yeah.
So you in the mood for a talk back?
I am.
Let's wash this down with a good one. Producer D, can you hit us up with one?
Oh my God, did he just say that?
OMG.
Hey, Zaron and Elizabeth, you know what's ridiculous? How much I love your podcast. You know what else is ridiculous? I have an acquaintance who once borrowed a large plastic cow from a certain chicken establishment's billboard and placed it in their local church's nativity scene. The restaurant pressed charges, so now they have to tell that story every time they interview her for a job. This is Sarah from Texas, and I love what you guys do. Have a good one.
Yes,
that
Sarah
is
from
an
Texas.
Story.
Having to explain a stolen cow every time you want a new job.
Yeah, but to put it into you're not stealing from, you're adding to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. Yeah. Oh, about that arrest
Tell us
record.
about a time you once had to solve a difficult crisis. Well, I stole a cow one time from a local fast food joint. Excuse me? There was a nativity scene involved. Don't worry. Well, as you can tell, we always love your talkbacks.
Yes.
So,
God,
hey,
that was
go
good.
download the iHeart app, leave a talkback, and maybe you'll hear your voice here. And you can also always find us online at Ridiculous Crime on IG and in Blue Sky. And we have our account, Ridiculous Crime Pod, on YouTube. Go like, subscribe, tell your friends, and please don't be shy. Leave a comment. We do read them. We also have our website, ridiculouscrime.com. Elizabeth, we were just nominated for the World Wildlife Fund's annual Penguin of the Year People's Choice Award.
Yes.
Yes, we're the first non-penguin to be nominated. Huge honor for us. Fingers crossed, wish us luck.
Yeah.
And email us if you like, if you want, at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. The interns enjoy reading those too, and we do as well. Thank you for listening. We will catch you next crime. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by Jack White's favorite Brian Eno impersonator, Dave Kustin. And starring Annalise Rucker, possibly as Judith. Research is by Marissa, I am not James, Brown. Our theme song is by the world's best Milli Vanilli tribute act, Thomas Lee and Travis Dutton. The host's wardrobe provided by Botany 500. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkle Shop and Mr. Andre. Executive producers have been, I do a mean Marky Mark, Bolin, and Noel. You should see my funky bunch, Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.